every time I noticed we were getting 50% or so of the people from the seminars until the seminar started growing. And then, of course, your percentages go down, but it's still a smaller percentage of a larger number is still nice. But so that was it. And then back in about 2017, I scraped together enough money for a commercial on TV, and I thought, well, that's going to be it. I'm going to run a couple of $1,000s worth of commercials, and I'm not going to be able to answer the phone. Well, that didn't happen. I learned a lot about marketing during that time, and of course now. I don't mind telling people that we spend about $600,000 a year on marketing for our agents. I don't personally write any business. My son, who's my partner, he doesn't. We pass everything on to the agents. So we like to spend between $4,000 and $5,000 a month per agent on advertising, whether it's Facebook, TV commercials, billboards, magazines, radio. I think we've covered most of it, but I'm always open. If somebody has an idea, I say, have you tried this? I say, hey, let's try it and see.
What is up? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins, and today's special guest. This cat and his team are blowing up when it comes to Medicare enrollments from Memphis, Tennessee, the owner of Delta Benefits Group. Please welcome Mr. Bobby Jones.
Thank you, Cody. Thank you.
Appreciate you being here, man. I know you are swamped, so I appreciate your time.
This is our time of year. This is like the accountants' March in April, so we're definitely wide open, full gun. Everybody's firing, so everybody's doing well and making a lot of money, which is what we like.
Amen to that, man. And you got a bunch of amazing people that are all like really getting after it and working and doing well, and you're creating so some six-figure earners and some really impressive people doing some awesome stuff. Has it always been that way?
Well, I would like to be able to say yes, but no, there was a time when it was me and all by myself in my little 2-bedroom apartment at the kitchen table, hammering out, an app a day or if I was lucky, maybe we would get 2. Then we kind of went from there, and I brought my son on, and it was him and I in the same apartment. I cleared out one of the 2 bedrooms and put him back there with a desk, and I still stayed at the kitchen table, and we grew from there. Went to an office, and then we moved here at the building that we're in, 24-story building here. I got 3 different offices on 2 different floors here for agents.
Wow.
We have agents in office, and we have some agents that are in the field.
I love it. How many agents in total now?
So we have I want to say 16. We have a couple that are still learning, so they're not, they're participating, but they're participating with someone. We like to pair them up with somebody so they can learn. We do our training, and then they go about just it's like learning to swim, and we're from the old school, that when it was time to swim, you got picked up and thrown in the water and you learned to swim. And that's, we're not quite that abrupt, but we like for them to work with an agent, and they'll listen in on the conversation. And then the agent, the active agent that we have been here a while, we'll let them do the same and critique them, and we'll listen to them. And we have sessions, back and forth sessions. Yeah.
Yeah, and how actually one thing I wanted to jump to is how long have you been doing this?
I have been in the nothing but Medicare field since 2016. So I was in the insurance business before, but we added Medicare thinking, okay, well, that'll be a nice sideline, and learned very quickly that Medicare is a full-time job. So so we started Medicare and dropped everything else in 2016.
Got it. And why Medicare? Because what were you doing before? And then what was about Medicare that got your attention?
Well, I was doing some ancillary through Colonial, Aflac. We did life insurance. But the thing about the life insurance and things like that was our main business is that it's, for the most part, we like the residual income. Mm-hmm. We want the recurring. I mean, in our business, I tell my people all the time, you don't have to be great. You just have to be consistent. And if you've got some longevity, you're going to do well in this business 3-4 years down the road, because it's like a snowball going down a hill. You pick
Yeah.
up the snow as you go down the hill, and you pick up your clients, and they stay with you, and you add on, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden you've got a really nice income.
Yeah, for sure. How big, like how many clients do y'all have on the books now? I know you're writing a ton, but
I'm going to say probably 4 to 5,000.
that's amazing. That's so awesome. Yeah, that's so good. I'm also going to mention too, for those who are listening, like if at any point during this, like I love Bobby. He comes to Springfield all the time. We've had drinks and hung out. Like he's an amazing dude. Really, really, really good guy. Someone I trust a ton. And he'll tell it like it is and be honest with you, which I also respect and love too. And so if any point you want to learn more about him, I'm going to put his link below in the description for deltabenefitsgroup.com.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as well. So 4 to 5,000. And what like in the early stages of Medicare, when you added it, how were you getting in front of people and what were you doing in those early stages?
Well, the first I would say I just word of mouth, and then we were getting referrals. And I said, okay, well, that's a little slow.
Yeah.
I knew it would get bigger. It's an exponential thing, referrals. I mean, of course, the larger group that you have to draw from, the more referrals you're going to get. But the first thing I probably did was seminars. I started doing. I don't mind. Have a speaking background. I've done a lot of seminars, talking in public, and things like that. So that didn't bother me, and that went really well. That every time I noticed we were getting 50% or so of the people from the seminars, until the seminar started growing, and then of course your percentages go down, but it's still a smaller percentage of a larger number is still nice. But so that was it. And then back in about 2017, I scraped together enough money for a commercial on TV, and I thought, well, that's going to be it. I'm going to run a couple of $1,000s worth of commercials, and I'm not going to be able to answer the phone. Well, that didn't happen. I learned a lot about marketing during that time, and of course now. I don't mind telling people that we spend about $600,000 a year on marketing for our agents. I don't personally write any business. My son, who's my partner, he doesn't. We pass everything on to the agents. So we like to spend between $4,000 and $5,000 a month per agent on advertising, whether it's Facebook, TV commercials, billboards, magazines, radio. I think we've covered most of it, but I'm always open to somebody has an idea. I say, have you tried this? I say, hey, let's try it and see.
Yeah.
So started with that, moved into the commercials. But like I mentioned, the commercials when we did in the beginning doesn't work. You have to become repetitive and familiar to the people. And then all of a sudden they do start calling, believe it or not. And then now we run commercials all day, and the phone rings fairly steadily. I've got it turned off over here because it would bug us, but I bet our phone rings 120, 150 times a day.
Shut up.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. And then we have the outbound programs too. Like I said, we work with some different carriers that provide some lists, and then we do a lot of the Facebook through you guys. We do a lot of Facebook advertising that's been very successful. Matter of fact, as far as the cost per acquisition goes, our Facebook has been lower than anything else that we've done. And of course, you guys that are just starting in Medicare, maybe considering, you might not be familiar with that term, but it's just how much it costs us to get a client in the door. So Facebook is a very good way, and I would certainly suggest using Cody's company to implement that program. But we've been very happy with our Facebook advertising, our Instagram, YouTube. We just started a YouTube campaign. That's starting to really pick up some ground. That's a little harder nut to crack than what I was thinking, but we're starting to make some headway on YouTube. So I'm excited about what the future holds for that.
Yeah, I mean the cool thing is like you strike me as someone that's like, dude, like you show me something that works, I will try it. When it works, I will dump a bunch of money into it. And someone that has probably tested out just about anything you could do.
We have kissed a lot of frogs, Cody, so we know, and I'm sure we're going to kiss some more before, and find out things that they don't always turn the way that you want to. But you're right. There's not a whole lot that we haven't tried, but we are always open. Anybody that's got a marketing idea, I say, hey, you know what? Let's try it and see. I mean, it's just a little bit of money. We'll try it. In the grand
Sure.
scheme of things, if you're spending 50 grand a month, what's another $4,000 or $5,000 a month to throw at something?
Yeah.
But and I'm using this scale, and I don't want to discourage anybody that's listening. You don't have to, of course, start at that scale. We certainly didn't. Like I said, I scraped together a couple of $1,000s to do commercials and just build from there. So, but anyway, but yeah, we like to try different things because, you know, a few years ago, mailers were the big thing. And then our mailer program kind of fizzled out. I do understand, talking to a few agents now, that they seem to be coming back a little bit. They're
Heard that.
hitting back in the 1.5 to 2.5% return rate, which is certainly doable.
Yeah.
Um, but it all comes down to cost per acquisition. I mean, what's it going to cost you to get that client in the door? That's the only thing that matters.
Amen to that. Yeah. And when you first started doing TV, like how long did it take for it to really take hold?
About 3 solid months.
Okay.
I would say 2 to 3 solid months in the phone. I mean, it would ring from time to time, but it consistently ring to where it's something about being on that box in somebody's living room, and you do it enough times and they become like, it's like a relationship. It's really kind
Yeah.
of strange because
Yeah.
I see people out in public all the time and they're like, hey, it's the Medicare guy, and they'll, want to talk all
That's
that.
awesome. That's awesome.
So just something about that TV magic that we like that seems to have done really well. But I would say 2 or 3 months, then the phone really started. Now it's steady.
Yeah. What are some kind of some marketing do's and don'ts that you've kind of learned with building an agency over these last several years?
Oh, that's a good one. Do's and don'ts. Well, I'm going to say do's. You got to try things. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't base it on what somebody might have told you or what, something, a preconceived notion. I mean, if there's something, and I'm going to be honest with you, before I talked to you guys, Facebook was off my list. I said, I'm not, because I had
Mm,
tried Facebook. And back in 2016 and 17, I forgot to mention that before, we did some Facebook and it worked really well. Then the algorithms changed. They made it harder and harder to do things. And then
yeah.
all of a sudden it stopped. And I was talking to you guys, and they said, well, give it another try, because we, have a good formula, we feel like, for breaking into the Facebook. And I said, all right, I'm going to try it, but it's on a limited basis. And we've been very, very happy with it. So
Good.
I guess you want to try different things, because what may work here in our area may not work, if you're in Indiana or Iowa
Yeah.
or anywhere else. But you've got to try different things, and people aren't just going to know. There's no nobility in anonymity. All right. So you're not being anonymous is not what we want in this or any other, the life insurance and anything. You want to
Mm-mm.
stand on a pedestal and shout out what you do, and just whatever medium you want to use in order to do it, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or TV, or whatever it might be. You got to try.
Right. Yeah. I think too, like one of the things I've noticed about you is like you understand that there are, just like anything, like in fashion, they call it trends, Well, dude, I mean, in marketing, there's trends, like it's some like Facebook, boom, then it's back, right? Direct mail, then it's back, Sounds like TV's always been consistent because you've consistently invested in that for
Well,
years and
TV, I
years.
mean, and the people that I know that are in TV a lot, and they would say the same thing: is TV's king. At least it is for now. At least especially with our demographic,
Mm-hmm.
our demographic, which is 65 and above. They love to watch the news. They like to watch The Price is Right. We know the shows they like to watch, so we try to get in and do our advertising during those times. But certainly, it's not the only way to do it. You can do, lots of other things. And I just suggest you try something. You gotta give
Yeah.
your effort into something, because when I'm sitting in that apartment and hadn't done anything, my phone didn't ring. People don't just know, and they're not going to know that you're in the life insurance business or in the Medicare business or whatever it might be. You got to let people know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it costs a little bit of money, but you can build that. I mean, you can start small
True.
and build from there.
Yeah. Well, what kind of if someone's like on a small budget, but they want to start to dabble more into Medicare, like what should they be considering? Because I would assume initially TV is not the answer unless they could do it for 3 to 6 months.
Right, because you got to have just a little bit of again, longevity, the ability to weather that first few months. But I would think that if looking back now, had I started or stayed with Facebook,
Mhm.
uh, again, the YouTube, I wished I would have started that earlier, but we've started it now. So
Yeah.
I can't say anything about that. But I would certainly say YouTube is not expensive. Google search is not horribly expensive. Facebook is not. Any of the digital platforms are probably the way that I would go if you were in that situation like you're talking about, where you've got a
Yeah.
small budget. But I mean, if you're by yourself, you got a small budget. If you sell two a day, you make a pretty good living.
True. Yeah.
Especially if
Great.
you compound that over a 2 or 3 year period, and all of a sudden you got 1,000 people at a $25 a month renewal. Well, you
Pretty
know,
good. That's pretty good. That's 25 grand a month, 300 grand a year. Like that's solid. Yeah.
absolutely right,
That's
and,
really
and and
solid.
that's not even again. It's not. You don't have to be a superstar, Cody. You don't have to. That's what I tell my guys. You don't have to be. I mean, I've got a bunch of superstars. All right, I got a bunch of
Awesome.
guys who shine and they'll do 3 and 4 a day. But my guys that do two a day, I just say, you know what? It's the long game.
Yeah.
uh, you know, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the road, you're going to look back and think, man, I'm glad I went through that.
Mm.
Because now all of a sudden, well, if I just want to go to Hawaii for a month, well, you're still going to get that $25,000 check and you're going to be,
Amen
happy
to that.
soaking up the sun. Right.
Yeah. What do you look for in when you're hiring agents and working with people? What do you look for?
So I hear that question a lot, and because, and I'm knocking on wood here because we have been very successful in our hiring, and to be honest with you,
Yeah, you
it's
have.
just something that I feel that I know, but I like a hungry kind of attitude and wanting to learn and willing to be coached and open to different ideas. But
Mm.
I prefer, I mean, for our in office people, we didn't have a single experienced Medicare agent at all.
Wow.
They were all because so, and what you hear a lot, of course, is you don't have to break bad habits. Well, so we did not have to break anybody's bad habits. And if I have a guy who's been doing this for 10, 12 years, and I tell him that we're doing three a day, which is about on average what our guys are doing, they're going to look at me like I'm crazy. But a guy
Hmm.
who doesn't know any better, he goes, okay, three a day, that's the number.
Correct.
And so um,
Yes.
it's kind of hard to quantify exactly what it is, but I just always kind of get a feeling. Usually, somebody who's been successful enough in another sales field, but has become distant. They see that there's no big future in it.
Yeah.
And if I can talk to those people and show them what's available in our program and how we bring them on and teach them, because we're not only teaching people how to sell Medicare, but we're trying to teach them how to run a business because that's what they're going to end up doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And what you're helping them do, if someone is out there and they're like, okay, I've tried, like, what advice would you give to like a struggling Medicare agent overall? Like, what comes to mind that to help
Um,
them become a superstar? Like, you do have a bunch of really good people.
well, I would say if you're struggling at it, you got a skill set and you got activity, right? I don't know if you can see, your activity has to be
Yeah.
wide if your skill set is negative. It's not a
Hmm.
bad thing. You just got to do more. You got to call more people and contact more people until that skill set gets bigger and bigger. When that skill set gets larger, of course, your activity can come down a little bit because you're going to have to, because you're going to be spending more time with people actually, you know, I hate to use pitching, but so if your skill set is not where it needs to be, it's a numbers game. You have to
Yeah.
increase the activity.
Yeah.
Increase your activity, and don't get discouraged. As a matter of fact, the guy that hangs up on you is doing you a huge favor versus the guy that lets you talk for 30, 40 minutes and I don't think so. So
That's
get hung
good.
up on, man. I mean, that guy's doing you a huge favor.
That's
Uh,
good.
yeah.
That's good. We never see it that way, but that is such good advice. Like,
Well,
dude,
that's like he
you're
said,
not
he hung up
wasting.
on me. I said, man, you got to call him back and thank him. Because if you would have talked for 30 minutes, that's 5, 6 other people you might have been able to contact. Um, so no, those
That's
guys,
good.
those guys do us a favor when you hang up on us. So anybody listening that's just thinking about Medicare, if you don't want it, just hang up. It's fine. We don't mind.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the next one. We got lots of people calling and lots of people to call. So
I love that. Well,
don't
that's
tire.
also
Mhm.
Yeah, that's also a really a tip too in there, like a golden nugget that like have too many people to see, like have so many people coming in that if somebody doesn't do it, it's like, dude, it's okay. We got somebody else in line, you know?
Well, I know you are like me, are a Grant Cardone fan, and I
Yeah.
like what he says. Is it says, you want to find the devil that's in white space on your calendar, because
Amen to that.
you want to you want to go from one thing to another. If you got a double book, because chances are one of them are going to fall off anyway. So it's always better to have too much than not enough. You get that
Hmm.
white space on there, and then your mind gets to wandering. Well, I'm going to run to do this and run to do that. Next thing you know, the day's gone. Uh,
Correct.
fill up that calendar, increase that activity. Um, if I can only sell 10% of the people I talk to, and I want to sell, certain percentage, well, I'm just going to have to increase the amount of people that I talk to. It's a mathematical equation. It's not anything other than that. I mean, sales, I mean, it's just a matter of, you hear all the time, we're in a contact sport. The more people you contact, the better you're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to win, you'll contact a bunch. I love that. Well, Bobby, I appreciate your time, man. If they want to learn more about you and Delta Benefits, where should they go?
Well, you can go to our website at deltabenefitsgroup.com. We do have a careers page. We have a video that I was glad to shoot over at Cody's place, and that kind of explains how we bring in new agents, and what we expect, and what we give back, and things like that. Or just skip that and call us, 901-460-7220. You can ask for me or Robert, who is my son and partner, and we'd be glad to talk to you. And we'll take agents from anywhere, Cody. I mean, we're in a mobile society, so we're all connected by the phone and computer. So you can be here or Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we can. I can't guarantee your success, but if you help me,
Yeah.
help you succeed, I can promise you're going to have a leg up.
Amen to that. Well, I know you're super busy, man. Congrats on an amazing start to AEP. Good luck the rest of the way, and thank you for jumping on.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you guys for hanging out with Bobby Jones and Cody Askins. Appreciate you joining our Power Player podcast. Go check him out at Delta Benefits Group. He's one of the good ones. And if you want to sell Medicare, this dude knows what he's doing. Either way, we'll see you on the next episode. Adios. Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're going to love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there. I'm so excited for today's CA Power Player podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. We got a special guest. He is back on the channel talking about how to sell life insurance from home. Here's what I love about this person. Okay, I'm telling you, this will be one of the best.